Yo, what is up? It's the Legendary Kenan Kaiser here, and it's been a while since I posted on this channel, and normally I was going to do reviews or stuff, but I kind of have been taking a break. I've mostly been playing Monster Hunter all day, but I kind of want to discuss to you about. This is going to be like a multi-video discussion, mostly just debunking a lot of his arguments, and I really want to focus on more about exposing and debunking all of this Poke YouTuber who's become very infamous and controversial due to his not constant nitpicking or focusing more on general hate on the Sword and Shield hand. Even though Sword and Shield isn't a perfect game and it has flaws, there are some good things. However, this person's more focuses on the negative side and is complete biased over his hatred. And it's not just I'm probably gonna edit because I can't talk shit. Well, anyway, you'll see in a minute. I thought about making this video like all the issues piled into one video, but I normally I'll take way too long, and I kind of want to do each of them separate, discussing each and every issue he has ever made. And even the ones that's like in his videos, that's like part of the issue, I want to discuss because either he doesn't get it or his bias is really showing, and I honestly think it's both. Okay, this video is going to pretty much either counter, expose, or debunk all the issues from Distant Kingdom Station. And let's start with one of the video I kind of saw. Like, I was gonna start with the size issue, but let's talk about his 100k undeserved video. Let's be honest, it's not deserved. He spent like 50 videos on one game. Come on. And I'm probably gonna do the same thing on him too. So in a special with the 100k, he mostly like said, he's like, I was wrong, but not really. He's pretty much gonna use everyone's argument and as a way to like to counter all of them. Mostly his majority of his arguments are based on like, how I'm supposed to critique rather than the topic that's been introduced. That's about the game. So it's less more about the game and more about how he's allowed to critique, and everyone has their own opinions. And he spends the majority of it talking about that rather than anything. And then he brings up the tree, and of course he laughs it off. Like, he doesn't really have an argument against that. Like, so, a person says it's just a tree, move on. And I agree, it's literally just a tree. It has no significant value in the video game, and nothing about it affects it. So it could be there all, but even if you do change it, it's not going to change the game, which is something that he doesn't seem to understand. And he just laughs off the argument. So again, he has no comeback for the argument. But that's not the one I was talking about. See, I pretty much destroyed the tree argument like in 1 minute of the video. I'm recording this video. It's basically his argument involving the rival argument, which I found interesting. A person who likes Hop's character specified how he liked Hop's character development. And Distant Kingdom responded in a way like saying, a rival is supposed to push you and to your best, and that's what a rival is supposed to do. Technically, yes, but there is like a bunch of details wrong with his argument discussing rivals, and I'm going to break every single, like, give you a list of all the problems that his arguments is a bit weak and doesn't actually go into any detail other than just being a weak argument. All right. Number one, he doesn't give an example. That's a weak argument. He says a rival is supposed to push it, but he gives no examples of what rival does that. He doesn't. Either Blue, the person from Heart Gold was a criminal, Brandon, Bede, Lily, or even the trainer rival too, or N. No example. So by saying a rival is supposed to push you and not have any person to and then you give me like an example, shows that he doesn't really, he just says that and just doesn't have anything to say. Number 2, it's when he was using that, he used pretty much the anime, and what he doesn't seem to understand is the anime is a more of a expands on what the game has. Like the early games don't really show you all there is about Pokemon. That's what the anime, and that's what like the journeys and the not the journey but the generation and like Twilight Links are supposed to do. They're supposed to expand on the ideas of the game that the game doesn't do, and that's why characters have more of a role, more like explain how their character. That's how what the anime is supposed to do. It goes into extreme more detail that the game doesn't do for you. And remember the rival, he's focusing on the games and he's using anime as background, as a picture, which isn't a valid argument. Number 3, based on the anime he's showing, I'm gonna guess he's talking about Blue. And I hate to break it to a lot of Gen 1 fans, and maybe to him, maybe Blue is his favorite rival, but Blue is low tier as a rival. He is iconic, yes, like the starters, but Blue is basically a one-dimensional jerk. There is nothing to Blue's character he's just a jerk. There is nothing to his character. You brought the anime where again it expands it, but we're talking about in-game rivals, not anime rivals. And in-game, he's a jerk to the beginning, a jerk to the middle, and a jerk after. Even at the graveyard, he's a jerk. Even after you could beat the champion once, he's a jerk. And you meet him in 3 which by the way is a very clever name. Not really. There isn't any. I don't consider Blue like a really good character. He's filled with a jerk rival. He fills it. A better example of a jerk rival would be Beat. Yes, from Gen 8. I know how much you love Gen 8 Distant Kingdom, but yes, Beat fills the jerk role perfectly. For starters, he has a reasoning to be a jerk. It's been stated in the dialogue or in the cards that will explain why Beat is stating that the chairman is more important than the champion. Mainly reason is the chairman was the one who took him in, gave him his first Pokemon. So Beat has high respect and puts on a high pedestal of the chairman, and the chairman throughout the game is shown to be, well, a lot of people look up to the chairman and saying how he's handling all this. So that's he's up there with the champion in terms of all his accomplishments. So that's why he thinks that because the chairman chose Bede, that he has this entitlement, which it leads him to be more of a jerk. That is better explained why he's a jerk than Blue, which has zero explanation. Maybe because he's Professor Oak's son, or some, yeah, he probably is, but I think he's Professor Oak's son. I kind of forgot what his award was. That he's entitled, but it's not shown very well. Again, that's the anime where Agatha was talking about Blue during their fight in the Generations, but in the game it does not show that at all. And Beat is shown very well with Beat's case, and to the point where once Beat committed a really bad crime by destroying the statue, and Rose basically like took away his championship. And Opal kind of was off about it, but was saying like Olena cast him aside, but like not really. Beat kind of committed destroyed a historical landmark, so kind of deserved it. B has to go through his own redemption, and he does. And even at the post game, Beat is still kind of a jerk, but he is not a bad jerk, and he's willing to still be a rival. I feel like Beat is a much more better jerk rival than Blue. Even after he finds himself help, tries to calm down his his ego and jerk, also so that Hatterene doesn't kill him. Bede, even though Bede is, like, changed and tries to be more calm and less ego, he still can be a jerk back in the post team. So that's how you do a jerk character correctly. They can still be even though they change, they still have that jerk essence in them. And he wants to show more Pink, as he's now more loyal to Opal and wants to show how great Pink is. So he still has that. I want to show how good being the chairman is, and then he's also good at being Pink. So that's kind of why it's a really good hitter. Sword and Shield has really done well with strengthening the character, and that's kind of similar to Hop too. So Hop is also one, but we get down to Hop in the next one. Next one is number 4. And 4 is kind of a two-parter. The question is, what really makes a good rival? This kingdom's great, but they have to push you, but he doesn't do a good job at explaining what the battle is. I feel like every rival in the game does that role, but at the same time, something else does not do it, and I'll get to the last part later. Every rival has a reason. There's a jerk you have to overcome, and there's a rival that will get in your way, and that's pretty much what's the face called, the criminal one? I don't know. I think his name is Silver or something. I never understand what his name was. And hell, even I wouldn't consider N a rival. And honestly, as N, people's like, oh wow, N is the best rival. I'm like, is he considered a rival? I think he's more of an activist and less of a rival. He's more care about trying to show that Pokemon are not meant for battling and all that stuff. PETA, but he doesn't do an example by using them in the battle. So kind of defeats his argument. I do feel like Gen 8 does that a little better, explaining what Hop wants to be. The reason why Hop is considered to be probably underrated and up there with N is because you see you see how each fight has an impact on the person, which is something that no Pokemon game has touched. By the time you reach in Stonefield, he switches. This is one of the ones I see is clever. He switches out Wooloo for another team. As after Bede doing his job being a jerk rival, affects Hop in a way where Hop is doubting himself. Usually, you as a rival yourself, you don't actually tell Hop he sucks. He just tries to get better. But when Bede tells him that he's pretty good and beats him easily, that gets to him, and to the point where Hop decides to bench Wooloo because he thinks Wooloo isn't good enough, and Wooloo is considered to be his best friend. So that's kind of, you get the feeling that something about Hop is wrong, and it stays like that. But as you get closer to becoming champion and succeed, it loses away, and Hop basically loses his reasoning. It does feel like the rivalry is more focused on him rather than you. But there's the reasoning, and a lot of characters do that. A lot of characters have their own reasoning to rival you, and so it's more of a development of them. But that's because there's one element that makes it my second part, where they are pushing your rival, but at the same time they're not doing it, and the not doing it part is explained in the last part, number 5, and the last part is it's the player. Okay, I want you all to tell me something about the player. Dawn, Red, Gloria, Lyra, Gold, Lucas, all the players you've been playing as, without using the anime, masters, or any other sources, just the game itself. Just with the main Pokemon series games, can you tell me what is their personality? The answer is they don't have. The players are basically they have no dialogue, no interactions with anyone, and they're just there to fight. That would also explain in Sun and Moon, and in Sun and Moon where again, Sun and Moon has, I agree, people think Gen 5 has the best story. It's Sun and Moon, no contest. The scene with Lussamine, Last and her daughter, that beautiful moment where at the point, like, yep, Sun and Moon is the best story. Like that moment, you look at the trainer and he's like has this blank expression on his face. That's because, and it's been that way through all the generations. They have no dialogue, and it's pretty much like if the rival tries to have like an interaction with you, you're just a blank face. Like you have nothing to say, nothing. A rival can't argue with themselves or a blank wall. That's why the second part is they don't know, so no one really pushes you because you have no interactions with them at all. That's been that way through every gen. So it's like, oh, it's Gen A fault. No, it's every gen. You are still a blank character no matter what. So there is no. The rivals are pushing you in ways that push them, but at the same time they're not. They can't push you to get better because you have no character growth. You're only strong as your Pokemons. You're pushing them, so they push you to push them back for them to get better in their own way, but they can't push you. That's kind of why. It pretty much explains how rivals work in Pokemon. So yeah, his entire argument about how rivals push you is just like pretty much blank at this point. Well, that's pretty much all I want to talk to. There'll be more videos about the Distantkingdom Kingdom because he's pretty much considered by some to be the tumor of the Pokemon community, and I kind of want to get that removed. You know, it's bad for your health and all that. Alright, I thank you all for watching. If you like me, subscribe. I do videos all the time. That being said, this has been Kenan von Kaiser. Legendary on OP. I'm just that good. See you next video. Auf Wiedersehen.
Colors weave into a spire of flame. Distant sparks call to a past still unnamed. Bear this torch against the cold of the night. Search your soul.